What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another BMW M2 Competition video. Never mind me, I'm just in my Mini. I couldn't film this video in the M2 Competition because honestly I was too busy driving it. But anyway, let's start off with some good news. I have actually ordered a BMW M2 Competition. Everything's confirmed right now and I'm expecting delivery in the next 2 months or so. So stay tuned because there's gonna be lots more BMW M2 content coming to the channel this summer. But anyway, the point of today's video is to tell you some of the things I wasn't really impressed with regarding the M2 Competition. If you've missed the last couple of videos with that car, go below the like button in the description and watch them because they contain lots more positive stuff about the M2 Competition. So without further ado, let's get to the point. Point number 1 on my list, and probably the thing I least enjoy about the M2 Competition, and you've probably guessed it, it's that exhaust noise. As you all know by now, the M2 Competition gets the same engine as the M3 and M4, and that means that it has 2 turbos. And on top of that, because the Competition is a 2019 model, it also gets that OPF filter. So basically you have 3 things in the way of the exhaust gases going out the back, and that makes the car quite silent even at full throttle. I'm not gonna talk about how the car sounds like because it's quite a personal subject. There's a lot of people that love it, but there's quite a few people that hate it. I like the LCi's soundtrack much better. But I don't dislike the M2 Competition's exhaust sound at all. But the car is just too muted as stock. And on top of that, BMW decided to make the fake sound on the inside of the M2 Competition even louder than in the LCi. And that's really annoying because the fake noise on the inside doesn't really sound exactly like the exhaust sound coming out of the back. Unfortunately, that can be easily fixed by an aftermarket exhaust and by coding out the fake noise on the inside. Point number 2 on my list is also related to exhausts, but not the sound of exhausts, but the way they look. I mean, have a look yourself. Just look at that exhaust muffler, how it sticks out like that. Ugh, it's so ugly. And on top of that, BMW didn't even bother to paint it black to make it a little less obvious than it is now. I mean, you can see it from the side, you can see it when you're following an M2 Competition, and sometimes it even looks like the car has a problem, like the exhaust is almost gonna fall out of the car. I mean, I get why they had to make that muffler that big, but they could have tried to hide it at least, right? But fortunately, like I said, on point number 1, this can be easily fixed by an aftermarket exhaust. Most of them come with a smaller muffler that can't really be seen from the outside. Point number 3 on my list is related to the M2 Competition's improvements over the LCi. I don't dislike them, of course, but nearly all of them are optional extras, and they are quite expensive. For example, the brakes cost 1,500 euros to fit to your car. Same goes for the seats, and the wheels cost 250 euros to fit to your M2 Competition. I remember when I still had my old LCi and the M2 Competition came out, when I was doing the math to figure out if it's worth to upgrade, that was the first thing that made me say, I don't think it's really worth upgrading, because the M2 Competition was 7% more expensive than my LCi, and with the addition of all these optional extras, it would have been 17% more expensive. And considering that you also lose some money when selling an LCi, I decided that it was not worth the upgrade. So how come I've gone and bought an M2 Competition despite what I just said? Well, you're just gonna have to wait a while for a video to come out in which I'm gonna tell you an interesting trick to get quite a big discount on cars in general. Subscribe and make sure you turn on your notifications to not miss that video. Point number 4 on my list is also related to optional extras, but this time it's the lack of optional extras for the M2 Competition. Let me explain. When you buy the smallest M car in BMW's lineup, you don't have access to the same options list as the M3, M4 and M5. Now I get why BMW is doing this, to protect the M3 and M4 sales, but still, for a car spec'd up that costs around 70,000 euros, I would love to have access, for example, to more exterior colors, to more interior trims and leather options, and maybe, why not, access to some BMW individual options. So the least BMW could do is give you the option to personalize your car even more, to spend some more cash, right? And that brings me on to the last point on my list, which incidentally is also related to options, which is the fact that the tire repair kit for the M2 Competition, at least in Sweden, is an optional extra. If you don't know, BMW M cars come as standard with performance summer tires, as opposed to all other BMWs that come with run flats. The reason why most BMWs come with run flats is the fact that most of them are either rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, and that takes a lot of luggage space, and fitting a spare tire would lose you even more boot space. So on cars that have regular tires and no spare wheel, you would expect for the manufacturer to include something that at least helps you drive for 50 or 60 kilometers to the nearest tire repair shop, right? But no, because for the M2 Competition you need to pay around 100 euros to get that tire repair kit. And it doesn't really matter that that's not a large sum of money, but some people might miss that option and get their car delivered without a tire repair kit. But anyway, these are the things I dislike about the M2 Competition, and honestly they're all nitpicks, but there you go. When you're actually considering of paying that much money for a car, you need to put everything in perspective. But that being said, I'm very excited to be back to driving M2s on a daily basis. I really missed that quite a lot actually. So yeah, that's today's video, my friends. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure you're subscribed for plenty more M2 Competition content coming your way very soon. I'm probably not gonna be able to sleep before this car is delivered, so I'm gonna be very tired for the next 2 months. But anyway, take good care of yourselves, my friends, and I'll see you around.